30,000 square miles of grassland stretching from the foot of Kilimanjaro to the shores of Lake Victoria, a vast golden carpet where every blade of grass is soaked in blood. Here, prey can see death approaching from over a mile away, and death can see them too. Nothing is hidden. No one is spared. Because right in the heart of this scorching arena, a ruthless chain of power operates from the panicked leap of the smallest prey to the sky-splitting roar of the one who sits on the throne. At the lowest tier, impalas live every second as though it were their last. Weighing 90 to 140 pounds, their sleek, reddish-brown coats gleaming under the sun, impalas are biological sculptures engineered for one single purpose: escaping death. Their leaps reach 33 feet in length and 10 feet in height, a perfect parabola slicing through the hot air. When one leaps, the entire herd erupts, 20, 30, 50 bodies launching simultaneously like fireworks made of bone and muscle. A predator's eyes cannot lock onto a target when 50 targets take flight at once. Chaos by design. But chaos is not always enough, because the creature chasing them is the most perfect speed machine that 4 billion years of evolution has ever built. The cheetah. Weighing just 80 to 140 pounds lighter than every other big cat, because every excess ounce is a fraction of a second lost. Its spine curves like a drawn bow, stretching and contracting with every stride, extending each step to 23 feet, from a standstill to 60 miles per hour in 3 flat seconds. Faster than any supercar ever manufactured. semi-retractable claws dig into the ground like sprinting spikes. A long flat tail pivots mid-stride at top speed. Every detail on its body serves a single word: faster. But speed demands a brutal price. After every chase, the cheetah's body temperature rockets to 106 degrees Fahrenheit, the threshold where brain cells begin to die. "15 seconds, that is the entire time budget the cheetah is allowed to spend. If the prey is still running after 15 seconds, the cheetah must stop, lie panting under the sun, and accept empty-handed defeat. Success rate: just 4 to 5 out of every 10 attempts. The fastest on the planet, yet also the most fragile among the big cats. Pure speed is never enough when you lack the strength to keep what you have won. But not every creature chooses to run. Some choose to stand and turn their own bodies into weapons. The ostrich, the largest bird on Earth, weighing up to 300 pounds, too heavy to fly, but far from helpless. Muscular legs deliver kicks with enough force to crush a lion's skull and reach speeds of 43 miles per hour on the ground, faster than any land bird alive. The largest eyes of any land animal, about 2 inches in diameter, scan the savanna and detect enemies from nearly 2 miles away when they are still mere specks on the horizon. Males defend their nests with primal fury, spreading wings spanning 6.5 feet, charging headlong into intruders. In the savanna's chain of fear, the ostrich proves you do not need to fly to dominate. You just need to be too large, too fast, too dangerous for anyone to dare underestimate. Then comes the river of life, the wildebeest. Over 1.5 million migrate every year, tracing a circle of nearly 2,000 miles through the Serengeti and the Masai Mara, the greatest overland march still remaining on Earth. 260 to nearly 600 pounds, they move like a black ocean hooves, pounding dust into the sky, the thundering rhythm rumbling underground like war drums of an army with no general. Strength lies in sheer numbers. One wildebeest is a meal. 1.5 million is a catastrophe for anyone foolish enough to charge into the current. But within that river, there is always the weakest, the aged, the young, the sick, falling behind. And that is all the one at the top needs. The lioness, the true hunter of the savannah. Weighing 260 to 400 pounds, smaller than the male but faster, more precise, and more ruthless in every hunting maneuver. They never hunt alone, 2, 3, sometimes 6, forming tactical formations like a special operations unit across the grasslands.
अभिषेक सर, मैंने सुना कि आप 21 रुपए में फेसलेस यूएसए चैनल ग्रो कराना सिखा रहे हो।
हाँ भाई, सिर्फ 21 रुपए में ही सिखा रहा हूँ कि कैसे आप अपना यूवीसी चैनल बनाओगे और उसको यूवीसी जैसे कंट्री में कैसे ग्रो करोगे। एंड इंपॉर्टेंट चीज ये कि सिर्फ इस 21 रुपए में आपको उन सभी एआई टूल्स की भी एक्सेस फ्री दूंगा, जिसका यूज करके आप अनलिमिटेड एआई वीडियोस बनाओगे।
सर, क्या आप ये सारी चीजें लाइव सिखाओगे?
हाँ भाई, लाइव ही सिखाऊंगा कि कैसे आपको यूवीसी चैनल्स पे काम करना है।
सर, क्या आप एक चैनल का पोटेंशियल दिखा सकते हो कि एक यूएसए चैनल कैसा होता है?
बिल्कुल भाई, आपको 100% दिखा सकता हूँ। एंड आज के टाइम में अगर आप बात करें ना, तो आज के टाइम में सबको पता है कि यूवीसी चैनल का क्या पोटेंशियल है। मैं आपको दिखाता हूँ अपना एक यूवीसी का शॉर्ट चैनल, जो कि इनके एक एक वीडियो का आप यहाँ पर पोटेंशियल देख सकते हो। और अगर मैं आपको इसका ऑडियंस वाला सेक्शन ओपन करके दिखाऊं, तो यहाँ पर अगर आप टॉप जियोग्राफीज में देखोगे तो सारा व्यूज कहाँ से आ रहा है? यूनाइटेड स्टेट से आ रहा है। एंड इसी को कहते हैं फेसलेस यूवीसी का चैनल।
सर, आप ये बताइए कि आपका लाइव सेशन हम कैसे ज्वाइन करेंगे?
बिल्कुल भाई, अगर आपको लाइव सेशन ज्वाइन करना है और स्टेप बाय स्टेप सीखना है कि कैसे आप एक फेसलेस यूएसए चैनल बनाओगे एंड उसको यूएस जैसे कंट्री में कैसे ग्रो करोगे, तो इसके लिए आपको कुछ भी करने की जरूरत नहीं है। नीचे एक रजिस्ट्रेशन लिंक आ रहा होगा, बस उस लिंक पे क्लिक करके रजिस्ट्रेशन कर लो, जिसकी फीस है सिर्फ 21 रुपए। 21 रुपए में मैं आपको सभी आई टूल्स की एक्सेस भी दूंगा और आपको सिखाऊंगा भी। तो जाओ फटाफट रजिस्ट्रेशन करो। एंड रजिस्ट्रेशन करने के बाद आप मेरा व्हाट्सएप कम्युनिटी भी ज्वाइन कर लेना, जहां पर आपको मास्टर क्लास के लिंक सेंड किए जाएंगे। एंड चलिए, मैं मिलता हूं आपसे अपने लाइव मास्टर क्लास में।
One group flushes the wildebeest herd from the front, forcing the stampede. The flanks from both sides, closing the distance. pounce targets the prey's flank, pulling it down, pinning it, clamping onto the throat, squeezing until the chest stops rising. The African savanna is not the only place where evolution has carved a chain of fear. Nearly 9,000 miles away, on the other side of the Atlantic, another furnace burns where the chain of power does not operate under blinding light, but hides in darkness, crawls underground, and whispers in absolute silence. Ground temperature hits 177 degrees Fahrenheit. Air rises like steam off a red-hot skillet, bending the horizon into trembling ripples. This is the Sonoran Desert, the largest furnace in North America, over 100,000 square miles of sand, rock, and cactus, stretching from Arizona through California, cutting across Mexico. Nothing survives here. At least, that is what everyone thinks. Because the Sonoran is nature's greatest paradox, the hottest desert in North America, yet also the wettest, receiving rain in 2 seasons, generating biodiversity that no other arid landscape can match. Over 2,000 plant species root themselves in the parched earth. – 350 bird species tear through the scorching sky. – 60 mammal species prowl in the darkness. More than 100 reptile species slide across the burning sand. But biodiversity also means more prey, and more predators wanting to eat them. In the hottest desert on the planet, what is more terrifying, the heat or the one standing atop the food chain? the answer begins at the bottom, at the lowest tier. At the base of the food chain, one creature lives every day as though it were its last. The desert cottontail. Weighing barely 3 pounds, measuring about 15 inches long, a mobile meal for nearly every predator in the Sonoran. Enormous ears making up 14% of its body size, not for better hearing, but for survival. A dense network of capillaries inside the ears dilates under the heat, radiating body warmth outward. A perfect biological cooling system. Without this mechanism, the blood would boil from within. At dawn and dusk, when temperatures drop just enough, the cottontail leaves its shelter. It moves by hopping from shadow to shadow, shadow hopping as though the ground between two patches of shade were lava. Every hop is a life or death calculation. The distance between two shadows, the angle of the sun, the direction of wind carrying enemy scent. Everything eats the desert cottontail, but not everything dares to touch the creature that comes next. The horned lizard, tiny, slow, and looking like a rock with legs. A thorny armor coating its body turns it into a meal that is hard to swallow in the most literal sense. Any predator that tries to gulp down a horned lizard faces dozens of spines jabbing into the roof of its throat. Coloring blends into rock and sand. Thorny armor transforms its body into a fortress. But that is only the first line of defense.
Introducing Speech Engine, a way for developers to turn their chat agent into a voice agent with one prompt.
I need to reschedule my delivery. Can you move it to Thursday? Done. I've moved it to Thursday between 2 and 4 p.m. You'll get a confirmation text shortly.
Speech Engine combines our leading voice models into a single pipeline, all custom built to work best together. It connects directly to your existing agent. Your LLM, RAG, and orchestration all remain untouched, with expressive, human-like voices in 70-plus languages, industry-leading transcription, and dedicated models for natural turn-taking, voice detection, and interruption handling, all secured with enterprise-grade compliance. Speech Engine is available now in 11 API. Add voice to your agent today.
When cornered, the horned lizard activates a weapon that no other reptile on the planet possesses. It shoots blood from the corners of its eyes, up to 5 feet. The blood contains a bitter compound that makes coyotes, foxes, and even snakes spit it out and walk away. The most fearsome biological weapon in the desert does not come from fangs or claws, but from the eyes. In the Sonoran chain of fear, the horned lizard proves a principle. Defense is the currency of survival. No need for speed, no need for size. Just be horrifying enough that no one wants to try. But one creature goes even further. It does not defend with blood or thorns. It defends with other creatures' fear. The burrowing owl, the only owl in the Sonoran that lives underground. Averaging about 6 ounces with a wingspan of 20 to 24 inches, the burrowing owl is smaller than a soda can. But do not underestimate it. Unlike every other owl species, the burrowing owl hunts during the day insects, small mice, lizards, anything that fits its beak. Abnormally long legs allow it to run across the ground, a terrestrial hunter in the form of a bird that belongs to the sky. The burrowing owl does not dig burrows. It steals them. Old dens of prairie dogs, desert tortoises, badgers any hole deep enough. And when an enemy approaches the burrow entrance, the burrowing owl produces a sound that makes every desert creature freeze solid. The rattle of a rattlesnake. not a real rattlesnake, but the burrowing owl perfectly mimicking the hiss of the desert's most feared killer. In the darkness of the burrow, no intruder dares take the risk. "6 ounces, no venomous fangs, no thorny armor, but the burrowing owl has turned fear itself into a weapon."
This blender is a very easy to use and perfect for everyday cooking. The blender has a powerful motor that can make smoothies, fresh juices, milkshakes and fruit drinks quickly. It also comes with a grinding jar so you can grind dry ingredients like spices, coffee and dry fruits, ginger, garlic paste. The design is compact and stylish so it does not take much space in the kitchen. It is easy to use and easy to clean. Price is very reasonable. If you are looking for a budget friendly blender for daily use, this is a good option. It is a useful product for every home. Comment for link. Super.
In the chain of fear, the burrowing owl understands something that few species ever grasp sometimes. Pretending to be terrifying is more effective than actually being terrifying. But mimicking a rattlesnake only works when the real thing is not nearby. And in the Sonoran Desert, the rattlesnake is always nearby. From here upward, the line between hunter and hunted blurs. Every creature is both the terror of those below and the potential meal of those above. The coyote, the greatest opportunist in the Sonoran Desert. In the Sonoran, coyotes are smaller than their northern cousins, just 25 to 30 pounds. Their grayish-brown coats thinner to shed heat. But smaller size does not mean smaller ambition. Coyotes eat everything: cactus fruit when hungry, rabbits when they find them, lizards when convenient, carrion when no other option remains. Opportunism elevated to an art form. When hunting small prey, the coyote works alone, stealthy, patient, then exploding in a burst, reaching 40 miles per hour. It lurks behind a creosote bush, both ears rotating like radar, nose sweeping the wind. When a cottontail appears 30 feet away, the coyote becomes an arrow. But on the rocky slopes, the coyote loses. Desert bighorn sheep climb at 15 miles per hour up near vertical cliff faces where no coyote can follow. When the target on the flatlands is larger, they switch to pack tactics. That is where the hunter must constantly look over its shoulder. Before meeting the creature that stands above the coyote, meet the one that proves in the Sonoran, every predator is somebody else's prey. The greater roadrunner, the fastest running bird in the world that can still fly. Weighing up to about 90 ounces with zygodactyl feet, 2 toes forward, 2 toes back, an evolutionary paradox. A bird with wings that chooses to run. "26 miles per hour on the ground, faster than any other running bird that still retains the ability to take flight." It hunts insects, lizards, mice, and snakes. The showdown between the greater roadrunner and the rattlesnake is one of the most iconic battles in the natural world. The roadrunner does not attack head-on. It provokes, fanning its wings, hopping back and forth, forcing the rattlesnake to strike first. "3 minutes, 5 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. A war of attrition that the roadrunner always wins because it possesses something the rattlesnake does not: endurance. When the rattlesnake is exhausted, The Roadrunner delivers its finishing blow, a precision strike to the head, clamping down and smashing the snake against the rocks until the skull shatters. Speed defeats venom. Technique defeats brute force. But the Roadrunner is not invincible. Hawks, eagles, owls, and the coyote itself all consider it a meal. The rattlesnake killer still has to flee the sky. In the chain of fear, the Roadrunner proves a harsh truth. There is no such thing as a pure predator. Every attacker is someone else's target. But if speed and technique are the Roadrunner's weapons, the next creature chooses an entirely different path. It does not need to be fast, does not need to be agile. It only needs a single drop. The Gila monster, the largest lizard native to the United States, and one of only 2 venomous lizard species in North America. Weighing 3 to 5 pounds, measuring up to 22 inches long, a stocky body covered in orange and black beaded patterns. Aposematic warning, coloration, nature's signal that says, "Do not touch me." The Gila monster moves at the pace of a creature that does not need to hurry. Because when you possess venom, haste is unnecessary. Its venom delivery system is entirely different from a snake's. Venom glands sit in the lower jaw, secreting toxin into grooves along the teeth. Venom flows upward by capillary action, and the Gila monster must chew to pump more venom into the wound.
11 Labs Studio is here. The ultimate AI audio suite for video creators. Now with video editing. Instantly generate human-like voiceovers, cinematic sound effects, studio quality music. Edit with limitless creativity, all in one place. Give your videos an edge with 11 Labs.
That is why it does not let go. Once it bites, it holds tight and chews sometimes for minutes to ensure enough venom soaks in. A thick tail stores massive fat reserves, allowing it to consume a third of its body weight in a single meal and then fast for weeks. Its metabolism is so slow that the Gila monster needs only 3 to 4 large meals per year. The rest of the time, it simply exists. In the chain of fear, the Gila monster is living proof: no speed needed, no size needed, no pack needed. Venom is the great equalizer of the natural world. If you too are captivated by the hidden chain of power in the Sonoran Desert, leave your thoughts in the comments below. But the Gila monster, as fearsome as it is, still moves in daylight, where everything can see it coming. The next creature gives no one that chance. It does not move. It waits. And when the victim comes close enough, everything ends in a quarter of a second. The western diamondback rattlesnake, the invisible assassin of the Sonoran Desert. Diamond patterns along its back blend flawlessly into rock and sand camouflage, so effective that victims often step on it before they realize. A triangular head, vertical elliptical pupils, and an organ that no other reptile in this desert possesses. Heat-sensing pits positioned between the eyes and nostrils, these two small cavities detect temperature differences as slight as 0.02 of a degree Fahrenheit. The rattlesnake strategy is a masterpiece of patience. Ambush at trail edges or rodent burrow entrances. Lie motionless for hours, for days if necessary. prey comes close enough, the strike erupts in under a quarter of a second. Fangs pierce flesh, venom pumps in, then immediate withdrawal. No holding on, no wrestling. Let the venom do its work. Strike, retreat, track, swallow. No wasted energy, no unnecessary risk. Every bite is an investment, and the rattlesnake never invests at a loss.
A high-performance server that gives you full control and freedom is the myth, at least not with VPS hosting from Hostinger. It guarantees you blazing fast performance with NVMe storage and AMD EPYC processors and a lag-free experience with 1 gigabit per second network speed. Free weekly backups and a free snapshot keep your data secure, while an MCP-powered AI agent helps you to control your server. It answers queries and executes commands via chat so you can manage your VPS using a simple promise. Hostinger API saves you even more time and gives you even more control by enabling you to handle and automate your VPS hosting. The MCP AI agent and API are included in all Hostinger VPS plans, along with the access to global data centers that allows you to deploy and launch whatever you need to. Get your servers locked and loaded at hostinger.com and get 10% off with the code 10VPS for a limited time.
And the rattle, that keratin appendage producing the iconic sound, is not a weapon. It is the final warning. The sonorant chain of fear, the rattlesnake is fear made audible. The rattle is the sound of death. The thing that makes every creature freeze, every footstep halt, every instinct scream a single word, run. But the rattlesnake's sound, however haunting, is merely a whisper compared to the absolute silence of the one we are about to meet. Because in the Sonoran Desert, where the rattlesnake warns, the coyote howls, and the burrowing owl, his true power makes no sound at all. it arrives in silence, and by the time the victim hears it, it is already too late. But before meeting that silent one, meet the creatures. It hunts the largest, most valuable, and most dangerous targets in the Sonoran Desert. The mule deer, the largest prey moving across the Sonoran floor. A mature buck weighs 150 to 300 pounds, an enormous package of protein wrapped in 4 long legs and ears that span 3/4 the length of its head. Those enormous ears, the same heat-dissipating principle as the cottontails, but at 10 times the scale rotate continuously, sweeping sound from every direction. Mule deer are browsers mesquite, jojoba, cactus pads drifting slowly through scrubland and rocky slopes with the footsteps of a creature that knows it is being watched. Because the mule deer is always being watched. When pursued, the mule deer does not run like a rabbit. It stots a bounding gait, where all 4 legs leave the ground simultaneously and land at the same time. Stotting allows the mule deer to reach 45 miles per hour over rough, rocky terrain, where any animal running normally would shatter a leg. Broad hooves grip desert rock. Every bound is a perfect physics calculation, angle of impact, force of launch, landing point. In the chain of fear, the mule deer is the grand prize, too heavy to ignore, too fast to catch easily, too valuable for the one at the top to overlook. But the mule deer is not the only ungulate in the Sonoran Desert. The desert bighorn sheep lord of the cliff faces. mature ram weighs 110 to over 220 pounds. Curling horns weigh up to 30 to 40 pounds, nearly the weight of a full-grown coyote. Split hooves with a hard outer rim and a soft inner pad like natural climbing shoes allow the bighorn to cling to cliff faces that no predator dares follow. They leap across crevasses 7 feet wide, twisting mid-air to land on ledges only inches across. Gravity is their ally and the enemy of anyone who gives chase. Speed on flat ground, 30 miles per hour. Speed on mountain slopes, 15 miles per hour. But on the mountainside, 15 miles per hour is unbeatable. In the chain of fear, the desert bighorn chooses the vertical where the rules of the desert do not apply, where gravity replaces fangs and claws as the line of defense. And now we arrive at the summit. The mountain lion, puma, cougar, panther. 4 names for the same creature, the one who holds the silent throne of the Sonoran Desert. A mature male weighs up to 220 pounds. Amber green eyes sweep through darkness with vision 6 times sharper than a human's. And it makes no sound at all. In a desert where the rattlesnake warns with its rattle, the coyote declares territory with its howl, and the burrowing owl fakes a hiss, one creature chooses silence. The mountain lion, the only creature that produces no sound whatsoever. Because it does not need to warn anyone.
अरे वो जिसमें ऐसी वाली सीट नहीं होती, ये मस्त एसी वाली। अरे कौन सी यार?
मनपसंद बस चाहिए, ग्रेट बस करो, ये टाइम पास स्किप करो।
अरे जिसमें पानी के साथ बिस्कुट। अब चलें क्या? अरे पूछ उससे। चल आए बता दे।
Mating follows no fixed season. Male and female meet briefly, then part ways. Gestation lasts 82 to 96 days. The female raises her cubs alone, just like the cottontail at the bottom of the chain. The summit and the base of the chain of fear, sharing the same burden, raising young in solitude. But there is one difference. The cottontail fears everything. The mountain lion fears nothing. In the chain of fear of the Sonoran Desert, every creature exists at the mountain lion's discretion. Every footstep on the sand, every sound in the night, every breath under the midday sun, all fall within range of a single leap. And the final lesson of the chain of fear, in a desert where the rattlesnake warns, the coyote howls, the burrowing owl hisses, true power is silence. The mountain lion never roars before it strikes, never warns, never negotiates. Silence. That is the sound of the summit. But the chain of fear from the African savanna to the Sonoran desert, no matter how merciless, now faces a new predator. This one has no fangs, no venom, no claws, but it destroys faster than any species that has ever existed. The mountain lion, the apex of the chain of fear, is being hunted by guns, by traps, by retribution from ranchers who have lost livestock. By trophy hunters paying thousands of dollars for a hide. The Gila monster, the lizard with the desert's most fearsome venom, is listed as a threatened species. Stigma turns it into a target for killing. The exotic pet trade turns it into merchandise. The mule deer, the greatest prize in the food chain, is being severed from its migration corridors by fences, highways, and new housing developments. Paths their ancestors walked for thousands of years are now blocked by concrete. Urbanization devours the desert. Phoenix, Tucson, and dozens of other cities spread like oil stains across the sand. Every year, thousands more acres of desert become parking lots and golf courses. Climate change pushes temperatures higher, rainfall more erratic. The wettest desert on Earth is growing drier. And the creatures that evolved over millions of years to live on the razor's edge between life and death suddenly find that edge shifting. The chain of fear from the Serengeti to the Sonoran has operated for thousands of millennia. On the wild African savanna, there is no room for compassion or chance. Each day is an epic of survival, written by the sun, the wind, and the unforgiving hunt. The warthog, one of the few creatures that truly thrives in the 104-degree Fahrenheit heat. Their bodies lack sweat glands, so they seek out mud as a natural spa therapy, both to cool down and to protect their skin from parasites. This is a sounder of warthogs, formed by resilient mothers and their future generations. This social bond is their first line of defense. Their homes are old burrows, often abandoned by aardvarks. A natural architecture with a biological air conditioning system that helps maintain a stable body temperature amidst the scorching heat. In the wild, innocence is a death sentence. The leopard, a solitary hunter, is a master of the art of stealth. Its coat, with its exquisite rosettes, allows it to merge perfectly with the savanna's dry, withered vegetation. It approaches in absolute silence, every muscle coiled like a compressed spring, and its padded paws allow it to move without making the slightest sound. Its target is a warthog, an abundant source of energy and protein. The dry season causes the prey's distinct scent to travel farther, guiding the hunter The leopard knows it has only one chance. The attack must target the nape of the neck, the fatal weak point where the spinal cord meets the skull. A single, precise, and powerful bite will end the struggle quickly. If it attacks the body or legs, the warthog can still fight back. Its tusks, though short, are as sharp as daggers and are not for show. The lower tusks, constantly sharpened against the upper pair, form a lethal weapon, ready for a defensive thrust that can tear through an enemy's flesh. The hunt begins. The leopard lunges, and after a brief but intense chase, it delivers the decisive bite. The struggle is over almost instantly.
मैंने पिछले कुछ साल अपनी नानी की खोई हुई कुक बुक को फिर से बनाने में बिताए हैं। मैं पित्तौर की सब्जी बना रही हूँ और इसमें दही की खटास कम है।
दही को थोड़ा सा नमक डालकर अधिक खट्टा बनाएं।
इस नई रेसिपी को नानी की पित्तौर की सब्जी से सेव करें।
ये रही आपकी रसोई की किताब के लिए विधि।
चैट जीपीटी मुझे उनकी रेसिपीज को दोबारा बनाने में मदद करता है।
But the hunt is not yet finished. The scent of fresh blood quickly attracts other opportunists. The branches become an aerial larder, a safe place that few other predators can reach. Here, among the leaves, the leopard can finally enjoy the rewards of a perfect hunt, a testament to its power, patience, and masterful skill. But is the warthog truly a helpless prey? This pack of African wild dogs will give us the answer. They are the marathon runners of the savannah, and their hunting success rate of up to 80% is the highest among Africa's predators. And that reputation is not an empty boast. Even as a pack, they hesitate before those sharp tusks. The warthog knows that the dry season and the midday sun are a predator's weaknesses. Its breathing is still ragged, but within it lies a resilient pride. It has survived to fight another day. The dry season is tightening its grip on the savannah. The grasses wither. The water holes are shrinking. Yet the warthog seems to defy this rule. They use their snouts and tusks to dig, searching for roots, dried tubers, and withered grass food sources that many other species ignore. They can also endure many days without water, reducing activity at midday to conserve energy. But today, it has reached its limit. This water hole is either a savior or a deadly trap where predators lie in wait. Few predators dare to risk hunting by day, but the cheetah is different. It was born for speed and sunlight. The black tear-like streaks under their eyes not only absorb the glaring light, but also help them focus on a moving target with high precision, much like the black stripes athletes wear under their eyes. The Ferrari of the natural world is on the move. Its lightweight skeleton, flexible spine, and enormous lungs are all designed for a single purpose: explosive speed. Hunger quickly returns after the brief meal, forcing the cheetah to hunt again. Speed comes at the cost of energy, and it must constantly refuel. But the warthog mother is now hardened by loss. She will not lose another of her young. The cheetah is exhausted. Its body is overheating. After a short chase, its body temperature can rise to dangerous levels. Only water can save it now, but the dry riverbed offers no mercy. Family ties have their limits. At 2 years of age, young male warthogs are driven from the sounder. This prevents inbreeding and forces them to seek their... The dry season in the southern Serengeti is still a fertile sanctuary. From the north, millions of wildebeest and zebra are undertaking the Great Migration. They journey relentlessly, following the rains and the green pastures. But it is not just food that awaits them. The thunder of hooves has awakened the proud rulers. The lions are ready. The harsh dry season is an advantage, helping them conceal themselves perfectly in the yellowed vegetation. A single male lion can consume up to 88 pounds of meat in one sitting. So small, isolated prey is never enough for the whole pride. The lions begin to set a trap based on their age-old knowledge of the terrain. While the powerful males stay behind to protect the territory, the lionesses are the elite hunters. They coordinate with the precision of a true army, targeting the dense herds of zebra. However, the savannah holds another formidable opponent, the African buffalo. A lion's feast does not always go as planned. The spotted hyena. Do not call them cowardly thieves that live only on carrion. That would be an insult, as 90% of their food comes from their own hunts, thanks to their endurance and bone-crushing jaws. The other 10% is today's case. This frenzied mob, with its characteristic chilling laugh, knows no fear. The lowly subjects robbing the king. But arrogance is always the sweetest poison before the fall.